Yeah, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
The world has just changed so radically, and we're all running to catch up. How can we possibly have the slightest idea of what to expect? The best intentions. Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
Dr. Malcolm, I had to share a few campfire stories with my uncle.
You can convince the Washington Post and the Skeptical Inquirer of whatever you want. But I was there, I know what happened, and so do you.
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Hello and welcome to the May issue of Jurassic Minutes, where we discuss recent movie, toy and franchise news for the Jurassic series. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And here we are rebooting the system, discussing franchise news that's come up over the last month. This episode, there's more Dominion news that's come out, even though production's halted. We've got a new poster for Camp Cretaceous, and we have a look back at some of the filming locations for Jurassic World that we may have missed during the minutes. All that and a lot more coming up on this show.
National Weather Service is tracking a tropical storm about 75 miles west of us.
Aye. Why didn't I build in Orlando?
I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it'll swing south like the last one.
Looking at some news, David, we are fans of The Lost World, and of course this past week was the birthday.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really bad here and ask, what birthday is it, 27 or 26 years? No, it's not.
26, I think. No. It's 23. 23 years.
Yeah. That makes us sound bad. Of the film we love so much, and hopefully everyone's relived some of their favourite things from The Lost World over the last week in celebration of its birthday. Someone decided to take the time to post up one of the props for sale. David, when this photo came up, I was surprised. It's the screen used rubber version of Roland's Nitro Express.
Yes. So yeah, as we've been mentioning, it's Roland's it's The Lost World's 23rd birthday, which I don't know if you guys do golden birthdays down there, but it'd be its golden birthday. It came out on the 23rd of May. Mm-hmm. Though I know some fans were irked to see that Universal somewhat jumped the gun just a tiny bit, just because they had they posted on the 19th, or they posted the news on the 19th, which was technically, yes, it did come out, but that was the Hollywood premiere, that was the red carpet premiere, not the statewide release into theaters.
Yeah.
Or the nationwide release into theaters.
Yeah, I'm sure we mentioned all this when we done the earlier minutes of JP3 around that May last year. It has seems to happen every year. There's that argument of when the actual release date was, and for the most of us, it was that 23rd of May.
But yes, sorry, you might have heard a pounding there. I found another ant.
Kill.
Buggers be a little persistent this year. It's been a very wet year for us here in the Midwest United States. But yeah, so Roland's rubber prop elephant rifle was up for sale. It's claimed to be the spring used, though the seller did not mention any kind of certificate of authenticity that might have been sold with the prop. In the movie The Lost World, Roland was given a kind of a dummy rifle to carry around through most of the movie, just because the weight of the elephant gun rifle was so heavy. They figured that it'd be easier on Pete Postlethwaite if he was just given a rubber dummy to carry throughout the film whenever he didn't have to basically have any moving parts for it.
Well, you mentioned that the walking back and forth through the redwoods and that, how many takes they had to do, and the whole time holding that weapon. Yeah,
and the thing that it weighs like 16 pounds, I've heard, the actual rifle. So, I mean, yeah, I can imagine that you'd be tired of holding that after like 10 takes of one scene, and I'm sure they did a couple. They probably did a couple scenes a day, or at least tried to.
Well, holding it like that too. Plus, I think a lot of it was raining, especially the scenes at the end of the trailer sequence when he puts the stock in the mud and he's got those barrels sticking straight up in the air. You don't want a real gun, especially one of that caliber, that glorious gun being in the mud and that.
600 Nitro Express is a big bullet. It's a big old slug, and it's just, I mean, if you ever see a picture of the comparison, it's basically a miniature rocket. Might as well be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the prop was up on auction. It sold for $2,500. I bid on it, but quit after $1,200. So it went double my price range, unfortunately.
What was I remember we discussed a while ago about the real version and the price to get one of those.
Oh, those things cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, so it wasn't quite free figures.
Not 3, but it is very expensive, yes.
Yeah.
5 easily.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the seller seems to have something of a history. I was reading on the Replica Prop Forum that the seller here has a history of selling fake props as real, and he also had an egg and the Indominus tooth both up for sale, and because those are both so easily faked, I didn't even bother with them just because, I mean, like I said, they're so easily faked, and I've seen so many fakes before.
Yeah.
And so it kind of made me worried that I feel like I dodged a bullet on this rifle. And even so, I mean, it didn't come with a certificate of authenticity from Universal or anything, which was kind of a red flag for me at the very beginning, you know?
Yeah, I'd have to bring up images of the Lost World again to have a look at the gun, because looking at some screen caps here of that listing, and there's one image of the gun laying on some grey cloth. Even just having the orange rubber on the butt and in the buttstock doesn't seem right. But you like we've discussed, you trying to do the best you can at getting Roland's costume and that together, and getting a lot of the stuff that he had in the film, and the Nitro Express was one thing that was going to be way out of the ability to get as a working rifle. Just having a rubber one, whether or not it had the certificate or not, but I suppose that would probably drive the price up even more. Having just a rubber version of the Nitro to go with that costume would have been good, but $2,500 is a lot of money in this climate, especially with everything going on in the world at the moment. It's throwing that much money down, it's a shame.
Yeah. Speaking of some of the other pieces, though, we did get a email address from at Jurassicpedia from a reader who had identified some of the items further, like such as the boots are made by W.C. Russell Moccasin Company of Wisconsin, Illinois. And because we don't really ever get a good look of his boots in the movie, I kind of just picked the one that looked the most like it. They're called the Big Cambo boot, which is basically one of his hiking boots. We also got a ID on the sunglasses, which they're Conda Slim Folds, the model being SF013 with the brown tint lenses. These are extremely rare. I could not even find any sunglasses from this company. So these are going to be one that is going to be difficult for me to track down. He also got the braid that he's wearing on his right wrist. There is not actually a leather cord, but is in fact an elephant hair braid, which is meant to be. It's got like a bit of a history in Africa as something that shepherds would kind of pick up off of thorn bushes and weave together, and they kind of felt like it'd give them the strength of the elephant or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of got interesting little history in Africa. And then his watch. Roland likes expensive things. He's wearing a Rolex. He's wearing a Rolex watch to hunt dinosaurs.
I wonder if that's just a durability thing.
I don't know. All I know is I'm definitely not this. I'm going to find a cheap knockoff for that. I'm not bringing it here to Rolands.
You'd think it'd give away the position, being all shiny.
Yeah.
Especially
Might have been even like a retirement present or something from Ajay, you know?
Yeah, quite
You never
possibly.
know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or some sort of feed in the previous life he'd been given as a gift from the Maharaja of somewhere or something.
Yeah.
Find the infant tyrannosaur. Roland can show you where the nest is. I want it on my jet. Take it directly to the infirmary at the complex in San Diego. And hurry it up. I'd love to be airborne before the female knows we're here.
We've been a bit all over the place with some of the on-location shooting that for Jurassic World in the minutes, and I just thought I'd take the time to quickly go back and correct some stuff we said before, because I remember we were talking about the Mitchell's house being in Texas somewhere when it was down in I had it here down in New Orleans. So
Oh, was it?
yeah. The majority of Jurassic World was based down at Big Easy Studios, which was opened up, sort of come out of NASA's Mitchell Assembly Campus down there, which was left vacant after the end of the space program. So that's where we're getting that word of stuff being filmed at NASA down there. It was on one of their NASA assembly campuses down there that they later repurposed into a studio set or studio lot.
I see.
So yeah, that Mitchell house was actually filmed on a sunny New Orleans street, not Texas, but not far away. It's be about the same temperature. The fact of the matter is, fake snow and not real snow all the way down there.
Right next to each other, actually. Yeah.
Yep. The airport, the Dane County Airport, which I mistook for Chicago. It's the Louis Armstrong International Airport, which I don't know where that is. So it just says that address. It doesn't actually say the state.
Mm-hmm.
I've just clicked on the link.
I'd imagine that would be.
It's New Orleans.
I was gonna say New Orleans because Louis Armstrong was a jazz musician who had very strong influences in New Orleans.
Yep. And the petting zoo that we haven't quite got yet to is one of the local zoos in New Orleans as well. So again, using all of those locations down there.
That one I swore they did on Hawaii. I don't know why. I swore they filmed that one at the Honolulu Zoo.
It's possible. I'm just using movielocations.com here as reference.
Yeah.
All it says was used for scenes of the evacuation.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, I thought it said zoo, but...
Well, it does say Audubon Zoo was, but if it was used for scenes for just the evacuation, that would make more sense. Because I swore the petting zoo was, in fact, filmed at the Honolulu Zoo. I remember seeing, people who snuck into the zoo and kind of snapped some photos, and they had the Jurassic World flags all around this wooden pen in the Honolulu Zoo.
Yeah, it does. I went down a bit further. Honolulu Zoo was for the petting zoo. Kalua Ranch, of course, we get for a lot of the stuff where the helipad was set up on the side of the mountain there. Owen's bungalow, which we're going to get to in a little bit, and of course the IREX enclosure, which we're about to get to minute-wise as well. Main Street, we know the abandoned Six Flags amusement park down there. Dawn of the Planet Apes and some other films actually shot some of the derelict rides for the dystopian future stuff in the films there, but as we know, the Jurassic World actually built the entire set in the car park, I think it was, for that place. So, and I've got a heap of photos I'm going to start posting up on the Facebook site and that now of the aerials of Main Street being built and a lot of that behind the scenes stuff. So,
and of course, our friends at Behind the Gates, they've got some very, very good behind the scene photos of its construction and filming.
Yeah. So check them out on Facebook as well.
Dinosaurs lived 65 million years ago. What is left of them is fossilized in the rocks, and it is in the rock that real scientists make real discoveries. Now, what John Hammond and InGen did at Jurassic Park is create genetically engineered theme park monsters, nothing more and nothing less.
Are you saying that you wouldn't want to get onto Isla Sorna and study them if you had the chance?
No force on earth or heaven could get me on that island.
Up next, moving into some Dominion news, Sam Neill was interviewed on one of the radio stations here in Australia. I don't listen to them. One is an ex-Big Brother contestant, and the other one is someone I don't know. So, yeah, radio host. He discussed sort of some of the things with apparently 2 weeks had been filmed, or 2 weeks production had been filmed for Dominion before it was shut down. He managed to escape back to New Zealand out of the UK before it all got shut down, airport-wise, and yeah, he's maybe suggesting that production could be moved down to Australia or New Zealand to just get the ball rolling a bit earlier, because the UK is probably going to be locked down for a lot longer than the rest of the world, just because of the being able to cross borders and all that sort of stuff, not so much air travel. I don't know how I feel about this. We know they originally went to New Zealand to film scouting for Jurassic Park originally. Or was it just The Lost World? I know it was definitely for The Lost World. But...
Yeah, they definitely did. They went down to New Zealand for The Lost World. There's some Photoshop mock-up concept art from those shoots in the making of book for The Lost World. I know I think they considered it for Jurassic Park 3, and I think when we did the minutes for Jurassic Park 3, we talked about how they did the sweepstakes for go visit the filming location Jurassic Park 3, and it was New Zealand.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some fantastic locations both here and there to film at, but it'd be the same as Jeff Goldblum saying, well, why don't we come and film here and come back to the Redwoods, come back to America, where majority of the production you'd think would be. It's just weird that Sam Neill said, well, let's all come to my town. It's when everyone could be saying the same thing. Just to get production out of the UK.
I think California is still also shut down. And what I think they were specifically looking to do was they were going to film at Malta with the UK as a base when they did studio shots in at Pinewood Studios in the United Kingdom. But I think Malta was going to be the next stop on the trip. I know that I can't remember her actor's name, but yeah, I'll just call her. Yeah, I know Maisie's actor and Chris Pratt did get to finish some scenes in Vancouver and that area over there.
Yeah. And so we're local governments here suggesting that international flights probably won't happen again until 2021. So it is going to push this back, and that's just here. What happens in the UK is probably going to be a lot different, although they are trying to get stuff open again to get economies working and that sort of thing. But yeah, it'll be a wait and see. I can't see this making the release schedule now.
No, definitely not. I'd definitely say that this is probably going to be pushed back to 2021. Which, honestly, I mean, I don't mind so long as they don't try to rush it and produce this like a half-ass film. I'm more than fine with waiting for another year, you know?
Well, chances are it won't be the only thing coming, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
This is as good a place as any for base camp. That's first priority after we're finished. I want it up and running in 30 minutes. That's half an hour. Understood? Over.
Moving on, something that does seem to be still steaming ahead. Camp Cretaceous. We got a poster revealed. I think there was a couple other photos as well, but I couldn't find them. Of the Carnotaurus, the Camp Cretaceous gates, and sort of the kids, the animated style of what we're going to be getting with this series, and the baby ankylosaur, which was it called Lumpy? I don't know why I want to call it Lumpy.
Bumpy, I think.
Bumpy, yeah. So we've got a little bit of a tease here of what we're going to be getting coming up. I do love the dinosaur design, especially the Carnotaurus. Just that devil Carnotaurus look, like we got in Fallen Kingdom with the oranges. And the baby ankylosaur is a lot more of that sort of chibi look as well, but sort of odd. The foliage there looks realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of surprised how kind of chintzy the human characters look. Like they blew the whole budget on the environment and the dinosaurs, and they're like, "Oh wait, we got humans in this too. We got to animate those."
It sort of reminds me of Terra Nova, where they spent all the budget on the sets and the actors, and yeah, I forgot about the budget for the dinosaurs there. But yeah, I can't recall what age group this is going for, but this seems more like early teens to children.
I was thinking even more than that, younger children, you know?
Yeah.
Animation almost kind of reminds me of Star Wars Resistance, which has not gotten a lot of praise from the Star Wars fandom just because it's had such a kind of goofy dialogue and plots and really not so great animation. But yeah, I think that this is going to be more of a kid show, not quite maybe as much as the Lego TV show was, but it's going to be more of a kid show than I think it is going to be geared for teens and young adults.
Yeah, I'd imagine a little bit less goofy and not as jokey as what the Lego series have been, but and hopefully something a little bit stronger in canon than that the Lego movies, the Lego stuff has done as well. But I still can't wait to see what they do with it. It's good to see they seem to be pushing ahead with the November release date. So we'll have to see what else comes out in the next couple of months. See what next month at least.
I'll tell you the problem with the scientific power that you're using here. It didn't require any discipline to attain it. You know, you read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
Collider.com has released an interview with Frank Marshall, as we know, one of the heads producers of the Jurassic World series and Jurassic series, really going all the way back. He's been on that interview saying that Dominion won't be the end of the Jurassic series; will be the start of a new era. Yeah, when asked if Jurassic World 3 was being envisioned as an endpoint, he responded no. So. Well, you've got a lot more coming, Dave. He quotes here, the dinosaurs are now on the mainland among us, and they'll be for quite some time, I hope, he adds.
Like many others, I'm definitely taking it as confirmation that we are going to get more Jurassic Park movies.
Do you think it's movies?
I don't know, I mean, an HBO miniseries that follows the books closer, that kind of like what they did with Westworld, would definitely be interesting. But I think that Universal won't want to do that. I think they're going to want to continue the movie series, because I just saw an article earlier that said Jurassic Park is Hollywood's, not just Universal Studios. They're Hollywood's most profitable franchise. This is a movie franchise that makes this company billions of dollars, and not just on the movies. I'm talking toy sales, games, TV shows now, and books. everything that they produce. This is a big franchise, and I don't think Universal is going to want that revenue flow to go away. But at the same time, I don't see Jurassic Park surviving as a TV series. I think the budget would be too high, and I think that... Well, actually, now that I say that, because The Mandalorian is also kind of a bread and butter series for Disney. That's kind of their headliner series for Disney Plus. And I know that Universal is now starting to get their own series, their own streaming service. They're going to be getting Peacock. Will be their new streaming series. And now that I think about it, now that I'm mulling it over, that could be their headline series, a Jurassic Park TV series. No, but not a TV, it'd be a streaming series. You know?
Yeah.
I just think that Jurassic Park has a long future, movies and TV, baby. And I think that we're not going to see the end of it after after Dominion.
Well, and this is... I'm going to put my $5 down here on this. I don't see any more films coming after this. I think Dominion will be the end of the film series. We already know there's a TV series coming. Whatever happened with the Crichton rights after Jurassic Park 6, I can see this as a solid resetting point. The animals that are in the world, we don't need the same characters to be involved from previous films, mainly because of budget, and they're all stars now for the most part. Mm-hmm. If they want to do their own Mandalorian style 8, 10, 15 episode run for season 1 of this new Jurassic series to continue the franchise forward in TV form, I think that's the perfect way to do it. Unfortunately, as you said, they're going to do it as an exclusive on their own streaming service, which may or may not sink the whole thing if it doesn't go well. But I think with how many people, the money that this new trilogy's brought in, Dominion's probably going to do the same. A big box office as well. You've got the fan base built set now for a Jurassic World where the animals are on the mainland. You can tell different stories, different locations, and maybe have it continue. And what The Mandalorian done for Disney Plus is a prime example there.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I mean, most TV shows are limited by a 30 or 100 minute. 30 or 1 hour time slot. And with The Mandalorian, they're not limited by that. They can do whatever they want between 30 and 45 minutes, which would be the standard. Basically 30 minutes with a half hour, or 45 minutes being the standard sans commercials for the runtime on an hour-long TV series. And so that gives them a lot more freedom to tell the stories in the way they need to tell them. You basically get what the writer wants you to see versus having to either put fluff in or cut things out, you know?
Yep.
Because I think Mandalorian usually runs between about 35 to 45 minutes. And pretty much every episode is also good. So... So that's another thing, is that you don't get these kind of filler episodes. You just get the meat, and you get what you want to get. You know, you're not stuck to a 22 episodes of on a 1 hour time slot. You can do. One season can do 8 episodes. Another season can do 15. Another season can do 7. If they tell the story that they can tell within that season, they have a lot more freedom to tell a quality story than if it's on TV. And with streaming going the way being the future, I think we're going to only see more of that. You know?
Yep. Yeah. Plus, you've got Camp Cretaceous. So there's a lot of stuff non-movie stuff happening at the moment as well. So plus the rumor for the new video game as well. Yeah. Yeah, like earlier you said you'll talk about budget. Well, I don't know what the budget for The Mandalorian was, but both the use of practical and CG in that looks fantastic, and you wouldn't have to have. Maybe if you had the one dinosaur, like what Camp Cretaceous is doing with having the Carnotaurus being the main air quotes villain, you can sort of spend money on those assets and just do that and have it appear every episode or two. Same thing with the TV series. Have a core group of dinosaur characters. You've already got all the assets for Blue and stuff like that as well. If you wanted to go that way as well. So, and we've just seen it with Battle at Big Rock, having something small like that and doing surprisingly well CG-wise with the animals.
Yeah, Battle at Big Rock was a proving ground, basically, for the concept of a TV series. You know, I mean, if you're going to do a kind of anthology series with an overarching main plot, Battle at Big Rock would basically be the perfect test subject for that, and it was insanely popular. I think it broke ratings or something like that for a 15-minute time slot series, or time slot episode, or whatever you want to call it, special.
Yep.
Vehicle headlights are on and they're not responding. Those shouldn't be running off car batteries. Item 151 on today's glitch list. We have all the problems of a major theme park and a major zoo, and the computers aren't even on their feet yet.
Moving on, lastly within the news, construction is going along. Why is that dated 2003? Oh, that's because of... I just turned and go, wait, what? This is news.
It is, yes, it's the construction in Beijing for the new Universal Studios park there that is going to have the Jurassic World Main Street. What I did, though, was when I posted it, I kind of pretended it was a file photo from the construction of Jurassic World, just because the photo is basically this huge scaffolding thing, and we see the framework of the Innovation Center. So I thought, this pretty much looks exactly like what it would have looked like when they were building the real Jurassic World. Not for the movie, but I mean, like, if the park was a real park. And they were constructing the park at that time, so that's why it's got the 2003 date there. I think it kind of flew over some people's heads, and I was thankful when I posted that on the Jurassicpedia Instagram that there was somebody who was there that recognized what I was doing and was able to answer people's confusion for me. Shout out to that guy. Thank you.
But the thing is, like, it is exactly what the building in the Innovation Centre would have been like back when it was all going ahead, and right down like the tower crane. We've seen all this in that artist San Diego poster that he done with the Raptor hunched on the old Explorer and Jurassic World being built. You had the tower crane there, or tower cranes, building the Innovation Centre and the rest of the building. So, no, I just thought it was good photo to have a look at.
They're headed into port, but I can't raise them.
Try again.
Skipper SS Venture, this is InGen Harbor Master. Do you copy? Over. Skipper SS Venture, you are approaching the breakwater at flank speed. Reduce at once. Over.
Alright, lastly, before we get heavy for the day, we've got a bit of feedback here once again from our one of our listeners, Ben at Jurassic Site B over at Twitter. He had a couple of questions, which a couple here I thought were interesting. One, we had been talking, especially during the Mitchell House stuff, that Jurassic World takes place at Christmas, more likely the Christmas week, including Christmas Day itself. Where'd that come from? I know we got the Christmas carols and that on the radio.
And I believe it was identified by one of Jurassicpedia's contributors, Troodon Formosus, that the moon phase during the big battle in the fight occurs, I think, on December 24th.
Oh, okay.
Or the 22nd. I know it's late December.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we got that, and we got the Christmas carols on the radio, and it's snowing.
As for why there's no decorations, I know you and I kind of discussed that a little bit when you brought this to my attention. I think maybe because the powers that be would kind of find it clashing with the theme they want for the park, basically. Like, I mean, I know at my work site, we don't really, I mean, at work, my job, we don't really put up decorations, even though I'm sure a lot of people would welcome it, just because it would kind of not look professional, I guess. I mean, we do celebrate it. There are people that come in with Christmas sweaters and stuff like that, but it's not something, we don't decorate the office, basically.
Yeah, yep. And of course, his question was, why aren't we seeing any decorations around the park? My first thought may have been the religious side of things. You've got an international park here of guests coming from everywhere. You don't want to discriminate or anything like that for Christmas, but I mean,
there are kind of at least a dozen different solstice end of year celebrations that different religions do. There's Christmas, Hanukkah, we'd have the menorahs there, Kwanzaa, Yule, which is very popular, kind of mixes paganism with Christianity. Festivus for those who are Seinfeld fans. There's New Year's. I mean, people get uptight about happy holidays, but at the same time, there's a dozen different holidays you celebrate at this time. You know?
Yep. But I wonder if maybe it's more, and I know someone that works at Disneyland. I'm going to ask him. Just the size of the park itself, how spread out it is, the sheer effort involved in decorating for an event, for Christmas, whether it's just something that they don't want to do or can't, or something like that. But even, because it's just weird, you'd think, like, with all the dinosaurs Larry's got on his desk and that, you'd think Vivian would have a little Christmas tree or even just a Christmas shirt on, or just even stuff like that, not so much decorations, just someone wearing a red hat, or we'll have to pay attention closer as we go through, but it's not something we're really going to see at all.
Yeah, but at the same time, Lowry is the only one we see who does decorate his desk. I think he's more the exception than the rule in the case of the Jurassic World staff. He's the rule breaker.
Well, Vivian does have those family photos.
He's the one who looks through the guide and says, well, there's nothing against it, and does
yeah, but we do see Vivian's got some family photos around her computer screen too, so it's decorations in different ways, I suppose. But no, there's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we go through and just see if we can spot someone that's got any sort of Christmas